Hello, welcome back to Bloodborne. Here we are at part 14. This is going to be a finishing of the first Thumaru Chalice, as well as fighting the next big story boss for Bloodborne. So we can go ahead and continue to progress the main overall story of the game. So we are now in Layer 3 of the Thumaru Chalice Dungeon 1. Go ahead and take care of these threats before we continue on. Okay, you know from the last part, we talked about NPC summon help throughout the dungeons. Completely optional if you even want to use this guy. Honestly, though, I think from the first part of advice that I given, specifically this chalice, I don't know what's wrong with Oleg. He does have a chance at kind of, bugging in the boss room. So it might be more beneficial to use Prospector Oleg to do the main dungeon run rather than the boss fight. But we'll see what kind of Oleg we're getting here, and hopefully he doesn't, mess up on me. But I would just kind of walk. I'm not sure what really triggers him to be bugged. If we're just like, if you run and kind of pop the door before he's ready, and then his AI is just kind of like, what am I doing? Dude's equipped with, the Hunter's Torch and a Kirk Hammer, so he's going to do some pretty decent damage, being a strength build kind of character that we see. Went ahead and took care of the optional routes, so all that's left to do is to fight the main boss of the dungeon. Treat wound with care. Treat giant beast with care. So the notes are trying to elude and hint to what might need to do, which is fine. But what it is that it is a giant, fire dog, basically, and it is completely immune to fire. So if you have fire innate weapons, you might want to take it off for this fight. It's a beast, so anything serrated is going to do extra damage. If you want to apply bolt paper to your saw spear, your saw cleaver, or whatever serrated weapon you're using, that's just another way to kind of do additional damage, even though it won't really do that much extra, but it's an extra damage. And generally it is kind of a difficult fight because it will do a AoE explosion. Very hard to tell the timing of it, but when it happens it will hit you extremely hard, just like Dark Beast Paul. And that's probably the move that will get you killed the most. Other than that, it's about staying kind of disciplined, running around it, waiting for your opportunities to take a strike. Very boring chop fest is what this boss is. Really no good ways to parry it unless you can get some hits off on its head, and then eventually it'll drop for some easy viscerals, or just continue to hack away at its legs like everything else. So we'll go ahead and transform this weapon so we get some slashing, and pop the door. And we'll find out what kind of Oleg we get. That move right there is probably your best opportunity to get a free strike. Yep. And there it is. That AoE explosion is very hard to time and tell when it's going to happen. But when you take huge chunks of damage, just blow away. And see, even though I was away from it, it's still connected. It is just, you have to run to the other side of the room to kind of avoid that. That is a dangerous attack. It's pretty much a threefer. That's okay. Oleg did exactly what we needed. He was just enough distraction and damage for us to go ahead and defeat the thing. Yeah, AoE explosions are really what ends up killing you. I should have suggested to put on the Charred Hunter set for the fire reduction and damage there. So the thing is just immune to fire damage. That's why I say take off anything that you have fire related. Otherwise, you're just not doing good with it. It'll be invincible the entire time against you. So, fight can be as miserable or as easy as you want it to be. Just kind of circle around, take those slashes as much as you want. Don't get overly greedy because it has those AoE explosions that will hit you for some mass damage, even if you are a distance away from it. But with beating him, we already got the Central Thumru Chalice, which is the next order of Chalice dungeoning that we need to do. So it is required that you beat this guy. And the Fire Bloodstone Gemstone number 3. So the best gemstone that we've acquired up to this point in the game. This one is a waning shape, or the Crescent Moon. And it ups your fire attack by 8.4% and continues to recover your HP by 1. So very useful to stick into your Saw Cleavers or Saw Spears if you are running an arcane build, because the fire damage is going to scale off of how much your arcane is, and it will eliminate. So where you see the physical attack 109 plus 64, if I was to stick that waning gem inside of it, it will increase the fire attack to plus whatever the 8.4% is for the weapon, but it will drop the physical attack plus 64 down to 0 because you will lose your scaling attribute, which could be strength or skill depending on if you're using the spear or the cleaver, and straight off scale from your arcane, which is the little star. So very useful if you are trying to run a build like that. Other than that, if you don't want to go that route, just use fire paper and you're good to go. But like I said, the Rifle Spirit is not one of those weapons that will take any kind of papers, so you're stuck with just the poke, the halberd slash, or the shotgun. We'll go ahead and light the lamp. And there is no more to be seen about this. We go ahead and pop out. And just having a +6 weapon to go through the first chalice is just going to make your experience a lot easier. But you can do this at a +3 weapon, because you are kind of meant to go to the chalice almost immediately after meeting the Bloodstarved Beast and kind of get that whole thing going. Okay, nothing really in the way of rune or echoes were gathered from that. So you're going to end up using all these, and at times you're going to end up running out of them. So you're going to have to, destroy prior dungeons and, make new ones. We don't need to do that for now. We're just going to keep going up the hill until we create the final one, and then once we need to, we will go ahead and destroy it, which I think is only 1 or 2 of them, and make for the newer ones. But you can continuously go into these chalice dungeons and then just kind of, farm runes or whatever. I wouldn't suggest doing that right now because we can get a rune later that will make that experience a lot easier. than what we have right now. And generally I was kind of in between a debate of, should I just wait to do the Chalice Dungeons until I get that specific rune, so that, you know, when we put it on, we have the percentage chance of getting better stuff going through the dungeon the first time rather than rerunning one. And I think going forward I'm going to do that. I just wanted to showcase one of the dungeons, since I did say in prior videos that once I get a +6 weapon, I was going to do the first Chalice, which we accomplished. So, explaining what a root chalice is. Root chalices are basically just randomly generated, you know, chalice dungeons for that area. So you're going to see the Thumru chalice, but there's going to be multiple different maps that this thing was made out of, and that's pretty much what the root chalices will be. They're just going to generate some random stuff. Nobody will ever have the same kind of thing. And you'll run through the dungeon, grab some more materials, probably find some, you know, lost or uncanny versions of your weapons. And yeah, so roots, not really recommended to build unless you just kind of want to, you're enjoying the Chalice Dungeon experience and you just want to have something random, so go ahead and just keep on doing it. But you're going to have to buy those bloods, because ritual blood ones are, you know, they don't really drop as easily unless you farm the bagmen inside of the Chalice Dungeons, because they have a chance at dropping either upgrade mats or ritual bloods or any kind of materials you need for the dungeon you're currently at or need to go to next. If that makes any sense. Okay. The central Thumru Chalice is where we need to go next in the ranking of Chalice Dungeons. So, because I know that I'm about to head to a boss, I'm going to go ahead and use those echoes to just buy it now. And since I already got the materials I needed from the other dungeon, we don't have to worry about any of that. So it needed 6, and I had 8. The Chalice glyphs there at the bottom, if we were to choose the other option of searching a chalice by glyph, or whatever it is, that's what you would basically do. Just head online, just kind of get a specific dungeon if you're trying to search for, you know, whatever you're looking for, and you can go ahead and just get it from there. But that's generally where you find it. Privacy open, so pretty much anybody can join in. You have somebody, you have a friend or whatever, just, you know, use each other's little codes, get in there, and help each other with the Chalice experience. Really good use of the multiplayer right here. But we will save that for later. Go ahead and do the loop. I know our weapon needs to get prepared. Keep your stuff the same, because nothing's really going to change from here for the next encounter. Now, when you pop out of Chalice Dungeons and you have successful runs in them, you actually can open up new things from the insight pool. So this is a new item. The short ritual root chalice, quickly search and join Chalice Dungeons. Never used it, so I don't really know. Just kind of look it up if you need to. You can get the Ashen set. And just continuously check the insight pool, because once you complete Chalice Dungeons and you beat certain bosses within those dungeons, you're actually going to be able to get new unlockable gear or stuff that can be otherwise missed. Because most people, for whatever reason, don't play the dungeons. So, before we do anything else, it is recommended that if you want to, go over to the Hypogean Gel in Yarhargul, get some echoes, and buy anything you need right now. Because this boss that we're about to fight is going to upgrade the cost of all these items by almost double. Meaning, you know, it's just a higher number that you have to achieve in order to buy the stuff that you've been getting the entire game up to this point. So just very, very make use of your time there. I'm going to opt to go ahead and buy some antidotes because we're going to need some poison cure for the future. And then just some random bullshit. And if you have enough, spend them to upgrade, up to you. But we are going to go ahead and continue on with the story. So head on over to the Cathedral Ward. Now, from this point on, you want to make sure that you grab every NPC available before you change the world state. Okay? We have a new NPC here. This is the girl that we rescued from the Hypogean Jail. I believe her name is Adela. Adela has a problem with Ariana. If you take Ariana's blood too many times with her now in the picture, she is going to become jealous of her and end up killing her. Which is going to, in effect, ruin Ariana's questline, which is not going to get you a 1/3 of an umbilical cord. Now, on the offhand, I don't know what it is if you take Adela's blood too many times, if Ariana becomes jealous and leaves or kills Adela. I'm not really sure. That's something probably to look up on the wiki.
Oh, the hunt, another one you sent made it here safe and sound. This place is a haven now for so many. Thanks to you. I'm overjoyed, really, that you'd even give me the time of day. I don't suppose there's anybody out there worth saving anymore, but you did all you could. And so many owe you so much. Amazing, really. Not because you're a hunter, but because you're you. Makes me think, once dawn breaks, maybe I can just, you know, start over. Makes it easier to bear all of this, you see. You've made life easier. Thank you. If you please, kind hunter, when the night of the hunt passes, suppose we could be friends? Maybe? Now, I know I hardly deserve it, but well, I had to just ask, you know. Out of line. Yes, perhaps so. But, well, give it a thought. If you wouldn't mind, of course. Once the night of the hunt passes.
Okay, so Creepy Dude is generally pleased that we went ahead and rescued. He kind of dropped a point right there, saying that we rescued everyone that we could, meaning that you have every NPC up to this point of the game.
Oh, hello. Sorry, dear.
Yep. Go ahead and make your rounds. Talk to them again.
Yeah.
Bloody wench, they should have moved her on ages ago.
That's unfortunate. I forgot that he says stuff about Adela.
I've not...
That's okay. He's pretty much just warning us against her. It's kind of like, he's not really for the healing church, so understandable seeing that their people are turning into Ghostface and running around smacking the hell out of everybody. Go ahead and talk to her.
Oh, brave hunter. You're alive. Thank you very much. The town is in disarray, but there are still people here. Together we await the help of the healing church. I cannot begin to express my gratitude to you. The only thing that I can offer is my own lowly blood, if it would suffice. Forgive me, I should have known better. What would a brave hunter do with lowly blood like mine? Please, forget I even asked. Have you renewed thought? Forgive me. Forget. Forgive me.
So, I don't really know what it is when you do take her blood. Never have done it before. If I wasn't doing the 1/3 of umbilical cord run, I would probably do it just to see a change up in behavior. But we're not doing it, so it is all for naught. Every NPC has been talked to, so we are safe to go ahead and move on. Eileen's questline is good, and everybody back in the very first part of Yarnum have progressed and given us all the stuff they can give us. So you are good to go from here on out. Any echoes that we obtain from here, just be aware that you are telling yourself it's okay if you don't make use of them later, in case you die to the boss a couple thousand times. Oh, sorry about this. This cough has not gone away. Okay, Henriette. Henriette will be available once you clear all of the Cathedral Ward and open up all the gates. But what you really want to do is clear the way before the NPC starts going crazy. Yeah, that's kind of fun to be lived on. Now that is making use of the snowspeeder method that I talked about before. Sometimes though, those little wide swings he does, it does connect, so it's not really foolproof, but if you find the timing and you can dodge just to get that right frame, then, you know, you're golden. Blue elixir. Pretty good. I can't really explain the parry window. I don't know it for the best part of me. I just kind of got lucky there. Blue elixir is a liquid medicine that makes still bodies undetectable, so pretty much you can just use that, turn invisible for a bit, and generally more useful for the NPC of the hunter character, so you can get behind them a little bit easier. So this path, when I first explained this back in the Cathedral Ward super exploration video, we had a choice. We could go left, straight to the top, or to the right. You go left, we went to the Hemwick Charnel Lane, and went ahead and dealt with the Witches of Hemwick. You go forward, and you continue with the game and progress the main story. And if you go right, it is an optional area where you can get some pretty useful stuff, upgrade mats, but you will be blocked off due to progression block. So if you came this way, you're going to be faced with 2 hunters, one down there with a spear, and then one over there with a tonitrus. We want to save them for a covenant that we want to join later on in the game, because these two are the easiest to get a certain material that we'll need for it. And you know, there's other ways to do it, especially with the DLC, but we are not trying to do all that right now. On top of the roof will be some crows and some materials. There's a couple of critters that run around down there. If you were to go up and over that ledge, there is a bagman, which could have been another instance of you dying to a bagman and being transported to the Hypodian jail. You would drop down some cliffs and ambush some rifle dudes. If you walk straight down that path, there's 2 axe-wielding dudes, along with a bunch of critters, and then the doorway that you can kind of see right there. That doorway to the little church, or giant cathedral, whatever you want to call it, is where basically the progression block begins. So that's why we do not take this route. You can totally explore it if you want, and kill the hunters and, you know, find a different way to get the material that we'll need for later. But when we come back to this area, we are going to be definitely way overpowered and kill things in hopefully just like a couple, 1 or 2 shots. But with every enemy cleared out here, we do not have to worry about our NPC help running around and trying to kill everything in this world. So we want to go back down and go ahead and summon Henriette. Drawn by bells, timber, and iron, whatever. Pretty much meaning that you've opened yourself to the bell-ringing woman. This stuff persists if you are playing online, and that is pretty much just generating the fact that I can be invaded at any point now since I have NPC or summon help. I haven't seen anyone invade my game probably since Bloodborne first began, so it's really nothing to be, you know, scared of for now. But if you do, just, you know, have a blast, kind of go after each other. Hopefully we get someone good that's not a complete ass, you know. Sometimes the duels and Souls games are pretty bad because people just have very bad etiquette and they just kind of want to stomp all over you or whatever. So if you're one of those dickheads, good for you. Alright, so this next boss, this is going to be Vicar Amelia, one of the coolest bosses in all of Bloodborne. Henriette is good for distraction, just like every other NPC in the game. Obviously, you can see it's another Kirk Hammer wielder with, you know, Beast Torch. So, strength user. just like Prospector Olek from the tunnels there. This boss is a giant beast, so fire, serrated. It's what you want to go for if you want to do max damage. There's a lot of good videos about how you can kind of just break the limbs of Vicar Amelia very quickly, and you know, kind of cheese it, I guess, from there. It's kind of hard to pull off. Very doable, though, if you just kind of rinse and repeat the methods that other speedrunners have shown. But for this fight, you know, we're generally just going to deal with her the way that I've always dealt with her. You do want to at least try to equip your Numbing Mist, because you'll never use these again, unless you're like a prime PvPer and you know how to use it really well. Because this boss likes to heal itself during the fight. So if you remember, we collected the Numbing Mist from the top of that tower when we exited from where the first kin was. And the game was basically telling you, like, hey, this is an item that you might need for an upcoming boss. It's just one of those smart items that From throws at you that you have no idea what to do with until you actually start, you know, experiencing a boss or some enemy that is probably weak to it. And Numbing Mist can last for a good majority, so you just want to use this on the boss as she starts to heal herself, so you don't have to extend the fight even longer. Vicar Amelia has some, you know, jumping, ground pounding, and wide swipe attacks. So just, you know, stay behind her as much as you can, kite her around, use the snow speeder method, whatever you need to do. Just do not stand in front of her because she will swipe and do buttloads of damage. So being that it is a physical attacker, you might want to consider upgrading your physical defense. If you want the extra points of defense, completely up to you. I don't really see, you know, a point to do it. Because Henrik's set has always been really good to us. But other than that, we will continue, and then once we beat the boss, the world state will change, and then I will probably cut the video from there as we talk about the new experience of Yharnam. So let's let these cutscenes play out, because they are very, very cool. Yeah. Oh, that is hilarious. Wow. So, yeah, I don't really know what to say about that. That was a really trash attempt at Vicar Amelia there. And honestly, very frustrating because we get all of that explanation just to kind of die to her, I guess. The good thing though is that you'll get your summon help through the entire thing anyway, so. So obviously showcasing some faster, frustrated gameplay, for sure. Because we did all of that stuff just to set up a pretty much insta-death against Vicar Amelia, which is just insane. Oh, well. That is Bloodborne. So unfortunately, I really can't tell you what went wrong with that attempt. I think it was just the overall ground pound and then the shockwave that followed up that kind of did me in. So just, like I said, generally just disappointing that, you know, it kind of ended up that way. But not following my own advice, of course, just don't stand in front of her. That's where she's very dangerous, obviously. It's really just these wide swings that are just terrible. So another good instance of the Cleric Beast music there. Very cool. Yeah, like I said, just disappointing. I mean, we did all that setup just to kind of get insta-shot, and that's the problem with Bloodborne and its bosses, is that they are set up like that. You saw it with Parl, you know, we were doing really good, hacking away. Defector Antel was staying alive the entire time, and then it just takes like 1 or 2 shots and you're just done. You know, and it's really nothing that's your fault. It's just giant AoE explosions and really bad hitboxing that really just kind of does you in. And with Vicar Amelia, it was just one of those chances where she does double fist damage, and I guess the shockwave was enough to kind of toss me around, not giving me a chance to really set up properly and heal myself or anything like that. But a lot of bosses are like that, so just kind of have to go with it. Especially in the Chalice dungeons, they are some hot garbage down there, but you gotta do what you gotta do. So with Vicar Amelia successfully beaten, we have a ton of echoes. You could have fought her so much earlier though, you know, so having a +6 weapon at this point was definitely being overpowered. It's just, like I said, unfortunately the HP pool that I possess was not enough to survive 1 hit from Vicar. But we did net a gold pendant, which is going to be another little gemstone. This is one of those specialty ones that you can just attach to anything. It does not have to be radial or anything else. Actually, hold on. No, it is radial. Okay. So my bad on that. I thought this is one of those like little teardrop ones, but it's not. So it is radial. It can only be put into the little explosion icon looking things. Attacks versus beast up by 12.6%. So if you go in here, fight her, attach this to one of your saw cleavers, you are going to be doing even more damage to beast due to serration, and it's already innate ability to deal with beast even quicker. So pretty useful gem if you haven't beaten Parl yet, or you're struggling with it, and you know the other beast enemies that you come across in the game. So for here, go ahead and pop the lamp before you do anything, and then interact with the skull, which will change the world state.
Master Willem, I've come to bid you farewell.
Oh, I know. You think now to betray me.
No, but you will never listen. I tell you, I will not forget our adage.
We are born of the blood, made men by the blood, undone by the blood. Our eyes are yet to open.
Fear the old blood. I must take my leave.
By the gods, fear it, Lawrence.
Very cool cutscene there, right? So a lot of more world building and lore exploration, explanation for Bloodborne. Who is this Lawrence character, right? It's kind of like the question. We've heard Gurman say it. We've heard this guy say it. They're talking about the blood, fearing it, fearing the old blood, stuff like that. So very cool stuff, indeed. If you want to pick up more on the story, go ahead and just read about it, or just make it up in your own head, what this might all mean. So with that being done, we are now good to progress to the next phase of the game, which is one of of our favorite places. I know a lot of people don't really like it because, I don't know, forest, plenty of places to get lost around. I mean, I think that's kind of like where video games are at their peak, is when you have to do a lot of exploration and just kind of backtrack and, you know, kind of figure things out rather than just be handheld and, you know, linear pathways and stuff like that. Which for the most part, I mean, Bloodborne is kind of linear, as long as you know which direction to go. That's true for any of these, you know, Soulsborne game. They're just built like that. So we will revisit that church in the future, but for now, the world state has changed after touching the skull.
You.
Oh, hello, sir.
And you will now see that the big golem dudes are just stuck, right? They're no longer patrolling around. This is what I mean by, you know, the world state has changed for these guys. They no longer possess the ability to kind of do anything until you start messing with them. A lot of the ghost face dudes are no longer in their areas as well. So there could be a lore explanation for that as well. But just seeing it for now, that's it. Some of the regular dudes are still kind of walking around, but the healing church members have completely ceased their movements. It's just something to kind of watch out and be aware of. So after completing that, you can return to the Hunter's Dream and spend the echoes, or we can just straight up progress, which is what we're going to choose to do. As always, watch out for the bagmen, in case you haven't died yet to them and you're going to go to Yahar'gul. Just want to take this pathway around, take the left. Watch out for the dogs. Now this area is going to be a lot safer to, if you're struggling with getting away from these guys, you will now be able to safely traverse this area as long as you don't get too close or try to pop them away. And you'll be able to grab all the items that you may have missed along the way. The ghost face with the flame sprayer, or the mist sprayer, and the one down there are still walking around. They're just generally put there because I think they're kind of blocking you in case you didn't go down that way to get the NPCs. But the big guys are just done. They are just done. Walk around, give a good look. Nothing there. Progress through this archway. Now, we didn't approach this area from the first route. We went to the bottom half. So just look around the corner, and you're going to see that there is a tin. These guys are incredibly dangerous. As I've mentioned before, if they get a hold of you, they will suck your insight away, and you will never get it back. They are extremely weak to thrust, though, so just keep that in mind. And if you struggle with him, just run through this archway, come underneath the building, and he will just stop chasing you after a while. So remember to come down here. This was the door that we did not have the password to way back when. And after defeating Vicar Amelia and touching the skull of the beast, we actually did learn the password. Now, how would the hunter even know that? I don't know. There's really no explanation into that in that manner, but we'll take it as we get. So from here, we'll go ahead and just pop the door.
Password.
And Dude's been dead. Very strange, right? A dead dude watching the door that talked to us is just a skeleton. Actually, kind of lucky I didn't die there, to be honest. It's good to see more people playing, still to this day. Really enjoy that. The Forbidden Woods. Come around this corner for some blood. This place is drop-off central. Just be very careful about how you're maneuvering around this area. Very cool aesthetic. Windmills, you know, old village, outskirts, scarecrows. I mean, this place is Bloodborne to the T. One of my most favorite locations in the entire game, to be honest. Branching pathways, getting lost. I mean, it's just so cool. Really cool aesthetic, to be honest. So, traversing down this way, we want to go up. Grab this item. Where the bloodstone starts, so now you can tell we are definitely in the second part of the game. This guy is just throwing oil urns at us for the obvious reasons. Because enemies will start to burn you here. So if you walk through fire while you're on oil urn status, you will, you know, collect more fire damage. Axeman. Oh, another adept blood gemstone. Number 2. So if you're really in love with the Titrus, those are just good gems for you to use. And continue your pathway down. Really nothing else up here. Go over to the sides. Just watch out for walking the corners, because there are some treacherous areas that you can slip right off and go down to your death. A little stump. Here is the lamp. Get some more antidotes. Don't worry about healing, because we're about to go back to the screen. This is a shortcut that we will have to open up much later on in the zone, so nothing we can do now. But yeah, so just progress your way. We are going to encounter a lot of poisonous enemies in this area, along with beastmen, yarnamites, and some other stuff. Go ahead and take care of you guys. Around the corners were some materials. And as we progress this zone, just be very careful. A lot of traps. Like this. Run through it, run away. That's got me a couple hundred times, so don't worry about it. So you'll get a lot of instances of traps around this area. Just be careful, take it slow. But we want to go back to the stream. Once you defeated Vicar Amelia, you will get access to the DLC. The Eye of a Blood-Drunk Hunter beckons hunters to the Hunter's Nightmare. A deformed creature will whisk you away outside Odin Chapel. Okay. We will explain the Eye of the Blood-Drunk Hunter at another time. We are not going to go do the DLC stuff as of yet. Then do the loot. Fortify, repair, add new gemstones if you got any. That's what I mean, like you're gonna lose all your scaling just for fire damage, so. Up to you if you want to do that. And then down here with the gold one, you can see where the beast damage goes from 100 to 112, so we're just doing extra damage. Still don't have oath memory. Very good, can't find green. Now you see that the items are much more expensive, like I said before.
Welcome, Howard. Very well,
And we want to go ahead and level up.
Farewell, good may you.
So I went ahead and took care of the Chalice Dungeon boss. Vicar Amelia changed the world state, and we will be continuing into the Forbidden Woods next. Thanks for watching, see you next time.